You've spent years caregiving. You added in-home care, and then you decided it was time for a memory care community. You researched, maybe had some help, toured a few places, and chose one. You moved your dad in, and then one day, you couldn't find his lotion. I'm your host, Valerie Lynn, and in this episode, we are exploring what's locked up.
Welcome to Desperately Seeking Senior Living, a podcast for sons, daughters, grandkids, spouses, and all caregivers who suddenly find themselves tangled in the search for senior living and care. If you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and check out our doable download in today's show notes
For a printable summary of the show and a bonus tip. You're listening to our doable tips, short answers to your questions. Don't see your question listed? Send us a note. Then don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an answer. Hi, and welcome to the show. This is something that can be really hard to get used to. In fact, one of my guests in episode 46 talks about how frustrating this was. Every time she wanted to put lotion on her dad's arms or help him brush his teeth, everything was locked up. Well, in this episode, I'm going to discuss why things are locked up, your part in this practice, and what you might expect when you need a locked up item. First, and most important, let's explore the why. Many times, those with Alzheimer's and some other forms of dementia lose their ability to correctly identify products. Jody, who I worked with and whose story you'll find in episode 45, recounts some of the signs their mom's Alzheimer's had advanced. Her mom loved her coffee with creamer, but instead of using the coffee creamer, she kept putting ranch dressing in her coffee. Both containers looked the same. One of my good friends, and someone you should definitely follow, Dementia Darling, has an Instagram post where she squirts out a nice big amount of sweet-smelling lotion in her hand and says, "Oh, this smells great and looks like frosting. Yum." Well, of course, yuck to us. But to your loved one with Alzheimer's or another form of dementia, they may have lost the ability to know the difference. And this is the why. It's why memory care communities and adult family homes in most states are required to not only lock up your loved one's medications, but also their toiletries and the building's cleaning supplies. And where they're available to residents, you'll even find the refrigerator is likely under lock and key. So, what does this all mean for you? Well, there are actually two really important points here that many families don't even realize. So you might be thinking, my mom always has her lotion by her bedside table, and the staff at the memory care community may have even told you that you should replicate what was usually on her bedside table at home here in her new room. And this is great advice. And maybe this is also something that you did every night at home. You would have a routine where you would get her lotion and massage her arms and hands. But in most states, the lotion has to go. And your routine is going to have to change. But let's take this a little further. Let's say one day you walk in her room and you're like, where'd her lotion go? Because you had put it there on move-in day. So you run out to the store, grab some more lotion, and you go through your relaxing massage, leave the lotion on her bedside table where it's always been, and then you leave. Well, in that moment, without realizing it, you may have unknowingly put your mom at risk, other residents at risk, and in some states, even the community at risk for getting a citation. Now, this does not mean that you can't bring your mom's favorite lotion, and it doesn't mean that you can't continue your lotion massage routine. What it means is that you'll label the lotion, give that lotion to a staff member to lock up. And it also means that when you want to use the lotion again, you may have to track down a staff member, and you might have to wait. This is why the guest I mentioned at the top of the show in episode 46 was so frustrated, because sometimes it took a while before she could get her dad's items. And by the way, this applies to anything that could be eaten, including vitamins, Tums, and even flowers and plants. You want to make sure those are edible before bringing them in. Oh, and don't bring breakable containers, just in case. The lockup list is actually something that should have been communicated with you before moving in, usually during the paperwork or move-in process. And it probably was, but the move-in process can be really overwhelming. So hopefully this episode helps make your journey a little more doable.
Today's episode is brought to you by ClearPath Senior Living Solutions. ClearPath helps families find assisted living, memory care, and other resources. Find our contact information in today's show notes. Check out this episode's doable download in show notes for details, including industry terms and definitions we discussed, as well as a bonus tip from our guest. Have questions or your own tips to share? Leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, make it doable.